lines. If you've not given them a call, please give them a call. And of course, we say a big thank you and of course, hi to the good folks at Lafayette Medical Laboratory.
Lafayette House Medical Laboratory, my preferred choice for professional and confidential medical laboratory services. Lafayette provides results for all medical tests. If it can't be done there, they will facilitate it through their international partners. Their main office in Roseau is open from 7:30 a.m.
to 8 p.m.
Mondays to Fridays and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Home visits and emergency services are also available. Call 448-0100, WhatsApp 276-5213 or visit any of their locations. Cross Street, Roseau, Pickard, Portsmouth, Marigot or Grand Bay. Lafayette House Medical Laboratory. My choice, your choice, our choice.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the Ministry of Health says it is seeking to determine the cause of a recent increase in gastro cases on island. In news from the region, Jamaica's Prime Minister says the country must take advantage of AI. And internationally, the Donald Trump administration withdraws temporary protected status extension for Haitians in the U.S. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow FastPay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow FastPay. Flow FastPay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
Welcome back. Making the headline this evening, the Ministry of Health says it is seeking to determine the cause of a recent increase in gastro cases on island. Coordinator of the Health Promotion Unit, Mignon Rule Shillingford, says the ministry has identified 3 possible causes for the rise in cases.
We are also seeing increases in gastroenteritis. We haven't pinpointed exactly what is the cause. So there are 3 main areas that we think that can cause this increase in gastroenteritis around this time. 1, the torrential rain. So it has been raining since December almost every day. That means waterways can become contaminated. So from our normal pipe, sometimes it's visible, so you can see it's looking brown. Sometimes it may not be visible, but we know microorganisms may be in it because we had a lot of rain. Also, we know a lot of our Dominicans, we use the SUS water. So when it has a lot of rain as well, you know the SUS water can become contaminated. So we are advising that you boil water. Okay? Now, the other way we think that this G could be caused is because we have a lot of mass gathering, so a lot of people vending. So a lot of people are purchasing food, a lot of food preparation. And I can tell you, the Environmental Health Department have been on the ball in terms of getting people to renew their food safety certificates and to have it visually displayed when they are selling food.
Coordinator of the Health Promotion Unit, Mignon Rule Shillingford. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit believes the structure of CARICOM must be changed in order to achieve more from the regional grouping. The Prime Minister was speaking in Barbados, where he attended the 48th regular meeting of the CARICOM heads of government. The 2-day summit, which ended today, was being held under the theme Strength in Unity, Forging Caribbean Resilience, Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Development.
Let's face it, CARICOM is the only entity within the Caribbean that is advocating on our behalf. It's the only organized structure. Yes, people have concerns about achievements and things that he hasn't done. But let's look at things that he has done. For example, of the Carbon Examination Council, you speak of the regional security system. You speak about disaster management, or CDMA. You speak about our efforts during COVID. Had it not been for CAFA and the ability to do testing within our region, where would we have done those tests for COVID-19? And so there are a number of positive things that we have done. I believe that we should look at the glass half full rather than half empty. I believe that for us to achieve more from CARICOM, we have to change the structure of CARICOM. And are we prepared as citizens of CARICOM to delegate to the center some of our national responsibilities? Because the challenge which CARICOM has is on national implementation, not necessarily the decision we take, but a deficit in implementation. And implementation rests with national governments and national parliaments.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Forest Officer for Research, Monitoring and Environmental Education, Bradley Guy, has highlighted steps which can be taken to enhance Dominica's forest in the future. Guy says the reforestation efforts which are underway and with the help of landowners, Dominica's forest can be maintained. He was speaking on the Ministry of Environment program on DBS Radio on Thursday.
It's in national law legislation that we keep our forests as is, because the thing is with forests, you can have a forest next to your home considered a forest, as we have a forest definition. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, as we have covered our protected areas, the Mount Wabito National Park, the Mount Diablete National Park, Cabritz National Park. These help to protect further by legislation. But out of the boundaries of those national parks, you have private landowners who have forest lands, and due to the carbon potential sequestration of Dominica's forests, we can enter into an arrangement with landowners to maintain some of those forests, and they can actually get benefits in the future, which is called carbon credits and carbon trading. So that is very possible for Dominica, and we have seen persons actually coming on board with our national reforestation programs, not just after the hurricanes and disasters, but also as extracurricular activities for groups, schools, even government institutions have come on board to do national reforestation. So it's not just about after disasters, but it can be maintained as national. So I see our forests being maintained and actually enhanced, because we are trying to drive that we plant a lot of more economical species while we reinforce our local species, to bring in that livelihood aspects.
Forest Officer for Research, Monitoring and Environmental Education, Bradley Guy. Former Prime Minister of Dominica, Oliver J. Serafin, Calypso icon Gordon Henderson, and prominent broadcaster Dr. Steinberg Henry are among 13 individuals who will be recognized this evening. This as an awards and dinner gala, which forms part of the Grinnell City reunion activities, is scheduled to take place at the Parish Hall. The keynote speaker for the Grinnell City Reunion 2025 Awards and Dinner Gala will be Dr. Swinburne A. Augustine.
We have 3 categories. In the first category, the Grinnell City Legends, we are honoring Gordon Henderson, Jeff Charles, Oliver James Serafin, and Billy Doc Trove. These are the 4 legends of Grinnell. Lifetime Achievement Awards will be going out to Dr. Swinburne Augustine, Dr. Steinberg Henry, Dr. Donna Dodds, Father Franklin Coffey, Giselle Mondesi Charles, Mr. Duncan Stowe, and Dr. George Bruni. We also have a category for the Grinnell City Stalwarts. 1 award's going out to Jennifer White, and we are also recognizing a group, a sports group of back in the day named Grinnell City Lions. So the Grinnell City Lions will be recognized as stalwarts of Grinnell City. In addition to that, we have 2 special recognition business awards. 1 going out to Bullseye Pharmacy. We know that Bullseye on Federation Drive, right in the center of Grinnell, has been serving us for many years. And we're also recognizing our headline sponsor, who's been there with us throughout the preparation of this reunion and the execution of the reunion, and that is Big Edge Financial Express.
Chairperson of the Grinnell City Reunion, Natasha Henderson. The Dominica Police Force has confirmed that officers of the Salibia Police Station have commenced investigation into the death of 70-year-old Andrew Viville of Gullet River, Kalinago Territory. The partly decomposed body of Viville was discovered in his dwelling house at about 6 a.m. today. The police say, based on the initial investigation into the discovery, foul play has not been suspected. Nonetheless, investigations are ongoing. In other news this evening, a new Miss Teen Dominica will be crowned this weekend when the 46th annual Miss Teen Dominica pageant is held. The Miss Teen Dominica 2025 pageant is scheduled for Sunday, 23rd February at the Windsor Park forecourt. Artistic Director of the Whitey Kubuli Dance Theatre Company, Raymond Lawrence, is calling on Dominicans to come out in large numbers to support the 4 contestants.
4 lovely contestants will vie for the title of Miss Teen Dominica 2025. They are Hannah Joseph of the Dominica Grammar School, Corinne Roy of the St. Martin's Secondary School, Kiana Aaron of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, and Gabrielle Esprit of the Dominica Girl Guides Association. The contestants will appear in an opening number and will be judged in 5 other appearances: promotional speech, performing talent, spectacular creation, evening wear, and question and answer. The Teen Pageant 2025 will feature the Junior Calypso Monarch and the Junior Bouillon Monarch, Shalina, Liberator, Janet Jackson, and the Whitey Kubuli dancers, among others. Tickets are $20 for children standing, $30 for adults standing, and $50 for sitting, and are available at Deepex and Bullseye Pharmacy. Pay-per-view costing $15 is also available on the DBS Facebook page. The Teen Pageant promises to be a very exciting and entertaining carnival event with great appeal to both youth and adults alike.
Artistic Director of the Whitey Kubuli Dance Theatre Company, Raymond Lawrence. On the feature segment of the news, a young lady of Picard, Rihanna Patterson, is the one behind the Dominica Dementia Foundation. The institution was formed 8 years ago. Ms. Patterson says the Dominica Dementia Foundation emerged as a result of the death of her grandfather. Rihanna Patterson is our feature on the DBS Evening News.
So I founded the Dominica Dementia Foundation in memory of my grandfather. So he passed away dementia in 2013, and that experience kind of catalyzed me to have a curiosity on brain, behavior, human behavior. So I went to do an associate's degree in psychology at the Dominica State College, and after that I took a year out, before university to figure out what I want to do and stuff like that. I started volunteering with the Dominica National Council on Women, and that is where I realized I want to do something for the community. And then I started to reflect about my family's experience. And I said, okay, you see this, starting an organization, I want it to have purpose and meaning. And I don't want to do something vi and I do it one day and then the next day I fall out of love with it. I want to be passionate about what I do. So I felt like my experience with my grandfather really kind of, it's just like, when you lose someone with dementia, it's like something you never experienced before. You don't know what you're going to get in the next hour, in the next day. It's ever changing. And he was my father figure. He was my dominoes player. He was my cricket man. He was everything to us. So, yes, when we went through that journey with him, I realized that we need support in Dominica for our community. People don't know where to go for support. People don't know how to deal with it. They don't know who to talk to. So I formulated the Dementia Foundation in his memory to support the community, to raise awareness of dementia, to provide support to caregivers. So we have a full board of directors, newly elected actually. We had our AGM recently. So the president is Veron Nicholas. We also have a treasurer and assistant treasurer. So Keisha Etienne is treasurer. Outgoing assistant treasurer is Melissa. We also have advisors and trustees. And we are currently looking for secretaries, so if anyone's out there that wants to fulfill that position, please contact us. And I kind of situate myself between advisor and partnership lead, and fundraising. I do a bit of fundraising as well for the foundation. So the way I explain to people is dementia is like an umbrella term. So you have an umbrella. Imagine you have an umbrella. Create a fest, okay? And you have your friends and all your partners them getting wet, but you have a few under the umbrella. So dementia is an umbrella term. So imagine dementia is the umbrella and you have your people under the umbrella like Alzheimer's disease, Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease. So they all fall under that category of dementia, but it's not an actual condition. The actual types of dementia is under dementia, if that makes sense. So Alzheimer's disease is the main type that is commonly known, but there's about 100 types of dementia.
On our feature segment of the news, Rihanna Patterson. And that's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
Flow FastPay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. Flow FastPay. Flow FastPay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
In news from the region, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica must prepare to take advantage of the artificial intelligence AI revolution that is unfolding globally. The Prime Minister said that AI should not be viewed as a replacement for jobs, but for how it can be useful as a tool to improve productivity. He also underscored the importance of resilience with AI, noting that it is not just for academic rigor, but it is to drive substantial policy guidelines. And internationally, the Donald Trump administration has announced that it will not be renewing the temporary protected status TPS granted to Haitian nationals in the U.S. This was disclosed by Kristi Noem, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security in the U.S. The statement said that as part of this move, Haiti's temporary protected status will end on August 3rd, 2025, unless extended. This is part of U.S. President Donald Trump's promise to rescind policies that were magnets for illegal immigration and inconsistent with the law. And that's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. We head straight to the telephone lines to meet sports editor Gavin Richards with the latest in the sports division's schools football finals. Good evening, Gavin.
Well, good evening, Leila Langford, and of course, good evening to the many listeners of DBS Radio at this time. And I'm greeting the public with news that we have new champions in the secondary school under 17 football championship. As the two-time defending champions, the Castlewood Secondary School, they've been beaten by the Dominica Grammar School in quite a thrilling final right here at the Winter Park. A matter of fact, the game ended just a few moments ago. And as I speak to you, Leila, we're having a prize giving ceremony for that, well, for the two games. But it was quite an exciting game here at Winter Park, the under 17 Mass Grammar School and Castleville Secondary School. Grammar School got onto this, or that's the Castleville Secondary School got on to the score sheet first with, getting that goal quite early in the game. Alton Gasper getting an early go-ahead goal. But then the grammar school, they came roaring back. Chance Marshall got that equalizer, and it was 1-1. At one point in time, Castleville Secondary School, they took the lead with a few minutes left in play. Kimani Rodney getting that important goal, putting the Castleville Secondary School up 2-1. But then Dwight Walsh came off the bench for the Dominica Grammar School and got that important equalizer. 2-2 at the end of regulation, and then, of course, we headed into the dreaded penalty kicks. And in the penalty kicks, of course, Grammar School coming up trumps in the end, coming from behind. Castleville Secondary School had a number of opportunities to seal the deal as their goalkeeper came up with a number of big saves in that penalty kick session. But in the end of the day, it was the Dominica Grammar School getting that goal to win the match, 3-2 on penalty kicks. And they've been now the new champions in the sports division under 17 football competition. Well, the Castleville Secondary School, they will not be going home empty-handed. Earlier on in the afternoon, they won the under 14 championship as they beat the Portsmouth Secondary School 3-1 in that game. Roxon Copel had a very big game for the Castleville Secondary School. He got 2 goals and an assist as he led them to that 3-1 win. So Castleville Secondary School, the under 14 champions, but the Dominica Grammar School, they have dethroned the Castleville Secondary School in the under 17 division, winning that game 3-2 on penalty kick. So as I speak to you, Leila, the post-match presentation is going on. As a matter of fact, the announcement of the MVP for the under 14 division has just been made. And the MVP for the under 14 division is Robson Copel of the Castleville Secondary School. Like I said, he got 2 goals and an assist in the finals against the Portsmouth Secondary School. So we're just awaiting the presentation of the trophy for the under 17 division and the announcement of the MVP. But I believe that's all for now at Winter Park. But then very quickly before I go, I can also bring you up to date with the latest in the World Cup qualifiers, not the World Cup, but the CONCACAF under 20 qualifiers for the women in Trinidad. Dominica, they were taking on Canada this afternoon. And it was a very tough day for the national under-20 women's team as they went down 21-0. 21-0, Dominica lost to Canada this afternoon. And, of course, we will bring you some more details on that game in another sportscast. Actually, 22-0, the final scores in that game. So, Dominica, of course, they've been grouped with Trinidad and Tobago and Bermuda in that group in Trinidad. And they've been off to a very tough start, going down 22-0 to Canada in Trinidad this afternoon. So, Leila, of course, we'll hear from the respective captains and coaches in the morning spot because, like I said, the post-match presentation is currently going on. I'm not able to, bring the players across to have a quick word for the evening. But we'll definitely hear from them in the morning spot.
Our thanks to Gavin Richards for that report. Former West Indies captain Jason Holder has made himself available to represent the Barbados Pride in the upcoming matches in the West Indies Championship, the regional 4-day first-class cricket competition. Holder is set to return in the next round of matches on March 5th to 8th when the Bajans face combined campuses and colleges at Kensington Oval. He missed the opening 3 rounds due to commitments on the global T20 circuit in the United Arab Emirates and Bangladesh. The former West Indies captain in all formats also has his eyes fixed on a recall to the West Indies test team for the upcoming 3-match home series against Australia and the 5 T20 internationals which follow in June and July. Holder's last appearance for the West Indies was against South Africa in the 2-test series last August. Meantime, veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira has welcomed the news Jason Holder has made himself available to represent Barbados Pride. Pereira hopes other senior players that will overseas playing franchise cricket will also declare their interest to play in the regional 4-day first-class cricket competition.
Jason Holder, the West Indies all-rounder, has made himself available since returning to Barbados to play in the next round of matches for Barbados. Now, if Rovin Powell can make himself available for the Jamaica squad, the selectors would be delighted. And I think he will certainly help to improve the all-round ability of Jamaica. The same thing applies to Guyana. If Shafin Rutherford could make himself available, so can, in fact, Romaro Shepard. That will certainly improve the Guyana side. Smith is having difficulty with no balls and fitness, and we don't know if Sharma Joseph is going to return once he is not fully fit again. So Shepard and Rutherford will do a great deal of good. And overall, these players will lift the standard of the first-class game and maybe attract a few more people to watch the matches, because it's hardly been watched by more than 2 men and a dog.
Veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira. South Africa cruised to an emphatic win over Afghanistan as the 2025 ICC Champions League continued this morning. South Africa batted first and made 315 for 6 in their allotted 50 overs. Ryan Rickelton made 103, Temba Bavumba 58 and Aiden Makram and Rassi van der Dusen 52 runs each. Mohamed Nabi took 2 for 51 for Afghanistan. The Afghans were dismissed for 208. Ramat Shah got 90. Kagiso Rabada took 3 for 36. South Africa won by 107. The Champions Trophy continues Saturday with England taking on Australia. That match gets underway at 5 a.m. Caribbean time. National athlete Mitchell Davis is confident he can regain his top form and make another push to qualify for major competitions. The 200-meter specialist has been hampered over the past few seasons by injuries. Davis has represented Dominica at a number of major events, including the Commonwealth Games. The 33-year-old says he has been putting in the work and is hoping to have another opportunity to compete at major world events.
Currently, I'm training, but because of an injury that I sustained in April last year in my hamstring, I decided to sit out this year just to prepare properly, sit out the entire year. I've gotten some invitations to compete in Martinique again this year, but I made the tough decision to just sit it out and prepare myself for next year. I'm currently doing strength and conditioning, and I'm going to continue doing this for the entire season to ensure that when I begin again, I will be in perfect condition. I know what I'm capable of, and I know a lot of people know what I'm capable of, so I just want to prove what I'm capable of.
All right. Still focusing on the sprint events, or have you moved on to something else?
So because of the limitation to the training facilities here, I have to focus on something that's less technical, as the 200 or even the 400 meters. As much as my goal, which I didn't want to really put out there, was to break the national record in the 100 meters, because I found that it stood there for too long, and I know that I'm highly capable of attaining the mark, but I have to put that goal aside because of the limitations that we have here.
Now, a few years ago, you were literally 0.2 seconds or so off from qualifying for the Olympics, and that would have been, of course, a major achievement. Do you back yourself to get back to these days? I mean, I know the standards have gotten a lot higher and everything. Do you back yourself that you can get back to that level?
What I can say is I think I surpassed that level last year. I just didn't have the chance due to the injury. I went to Martinique in April last year to just, I guess, shock everyone. I don't know how to really explain it, but I was beyond where I wanted to be. I just didn't have the chance because of the injury. And I believe I'm capable of getting back at that level for sure.
National athlete Mitchell Davis. And that's how we end the DBS Evening Sports Report and News. On behalf of the News and Sports Departments and our link person, DJ Haloboy, I am Leila Langford saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 21st day of February 2025. We begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Deaf announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. Announce the death of Cletus Dumas, better known as Mr. Aboy, age 76, of La Plaine, who resided in Beaufort, Georgia, United States. He died on Wednesday, the 29th of January, at his daughter's residence. He was the father of three daughters, Batilia Banis, Leandra Dumas James, and Lydia Ducre. He will also be remembered by his grandchildren, Lester Dumas, Janelle, and Jalen James. Son-in-law Roy James, adopted son Curran Newton, adopted daughter Cassandra Pascal, goddaughters Edith Thomas Roberts, Joan Euseb, and Malika Daniel. Special friend Philomen Philip and family sisters Wilhelmina Emmanuel and Bernardine Nicholas in Dominica, Yulie Dumas and Sally John Baptist in the United Kingdom. Brothers Raymond and Elias Dumas in the U.S., Ozzy in the United Kingdom, Peterson Barry and Joseph Dumas in Dominica, and Lawrence Prosper in Canada. Sisters-in-law Jenny Dumas and Elaine Wilkinson in the U.S., Audrey Dumas and Mary Savre in the United Kingdom, and Cassie Dumas in St. Thomas. Brothers-in-law Simon Thomas, Lazarus John Baptist, and Coley Nicholas. Aunts Agnes Phillips, Jeanette Loda, and Ursula Lestrade. Uncles Bernard Loda. Special nieces Ethelyn Elwin and Shuheba Dubas. Numerous nieces including Paula, Bernadette, Miriam, Rosemary, Vanessa, Selena, Siobhan, Devisa, Derverel, Saraya, Beverly, Mavis, Ketwani, Tiana, Allison, Danelle, Natasha, Cheyenne, and Diara. Numerous nephews including Randolph, Bernard, Cleo, Devon, Philip,